What's up, YouTubers? This is going to be a short video on just a little update on my life here in Guatemala. Not too much news going on. I got back from Peru, I think 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. They recently had an election. There's either is or will soon be a new president. Not much has changed here. My cost of living is still about $500 or $600 a month, which is super cheap. For anyone who's interested, I got an apartment for $250 a month, and out of that $600, the rest I spend on food and stuff. Sometimes I save a few bucks. Anyway, there's not much going on here. I just thought I'd make a short video on my life here. I can't think of any updates concerning Guatemala. The main update I have was I already put this on my channel, but it's now much harder to get a visa here if you're a young person. If you're a retiree or you have a pension, it's still relatively easy. And unless they change the law, you can get residency and you can get a passport. I'm at my favorite place here at the mall, Donde Sea. It's really good coffee. Anyways, there is a kind of a loophole, which I won't talk about here. If you want to talk about it, just contact me privately. It's just kind of a loophole. I don't want to say too much about it here. Anyways, not much going on. That's the big news. Is more and more Latin countries are, to me, the big news is more and more Latin countries are making it harder for not just Americans but anyone to expat for a low cost. Almost all Latin countries now have, or they still have, ways, if you have a lot of capital and you're willing to invest it, which I'm not as interested in even if I have the capital. So there still are ways that way. You can still basically buy a passport in the Caribbean for quite a lot of money. I'm not interested in that either, but the ways for average people to get a second passport are really closing. The only real places I know of are Guatemala, which has just got a lot tougher. So before you didn't have to prove an income, now you do. Then there's Peru. You have to have enough money to live on, which that ain't a big deal. There's actually a couple loopholes there, but I won't comment on that either. But that's pretty straightforward. You don't even really need a lawyer, but you know, you could have one. And Paraguay, but Paraguay you mainly just have to put in $5K, get a police check, an FBI check. And that's another thing I don't like. The new rules in Guatemala, you have to have an FBI background check. So if you have a DUI or something you did that was dumb, under the old rules, you could just go into another state, get a police check there, and kind of that was the loophole. Now you can't do that as much anymore because now every country now has the FBI background check. So if you're precluded from that, there's still ways around that, but not for lower income people, I don't think. I'm thinking Chile, as a matter of fact. But anyways, at least in Chile they have a little bit of discretion, unless it's something illegal in the U.S. and there. But anyways, Paraguay is the only other place. But Paraguay, you can easily get a residency, but the problem there, it doesn't always lead to a passport. And sometimes you got to be flexible if you really want that passport down there. And that flexibility could cost you quite a lot. But other than those few places, there's the Dominican Republic, there's other places, but the fees, the time involved, the hassle. Just an example, a friend of mine tried to get a passport in Ecuador. He met all the requirements, and despite the fact that he met all the requirements, they still wouldn't give it to him. So there's that. You can meet all the requirements, and if there's too many gringos applying, and there's resentment against gringos, like which is going on in Ecuador right now, you're not very likely to get the passport. And I'm about to say something controversial that might make some people mad, but you might not be able to even qualify to get the residency if you're just starting out now, because they don't really want a lot of gringos right now. But just keep that in mind if you're looking for a second passport or a second residency. It's now become quite a bit harder. That's the main news coming out of Guatemala and Latin America in general, like specifically Panama, places like that. Costa Rica, they don't really want a lot more expats retiring there. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any specific questions about expating or Guatemala, just leave them in the comments. Thanks.